my name is Asia Warner, and I got a heart transplant 17 and a half years ago. My story is kind of a intense one. I was born 2 months early. I was supposed to be born February 22nd, but instead I was born December 22nd. And at first everything seemed fine. They kept me in the hospital for a while since I was so small. I was 3.5 pounds when I was born. So they kept me for a while. And then a few months went by and they started to notice that I had some congenital heart defects. I had coarctation of the aorta, which means the aorta is kind of pinched off a little bit. And then I had multiple VSDs, or holes in my heart. And it wasn't anything too serious. It was stuff they could fix. And so I had my first surgery at, oh man, I want to say like 10 days old, but don't quote me on that because I have no idea. Yeah, I don't remember. But I had my first surgery, and it was to fix my aorta, kind of put a band around it, and then the second surgery I had was to patch up some holes, and it was fine, it went well, and then they realized that there were more. Well, they went in because the band over my aorta was starting to slip off, and so they were going to go in to fix it. But when they were in there, they realized that I had a lot more holes, and they were bigger, and the patches weren't really useful because they were covering very few that I had had previously. And so there were more, and they were bigger, and it wasn't good. So they tried to patch those up, and basically the whole story kind of runs together because, I mean, I've just been told the story over the years. But I think I was about 9 months old when they found out that I was actually in heart failure. I was at the daycare center and I was struggling to breathe, and of course the daycare center like frantically called my mom, and, well, actually my grandmother at the time, and stuff. So she took me straight to the pediatrician, and I got there and I was perfectly fine. I was sitting there, I was playing, I wasn't struggling anymore, and so everyone was like, seriously, like, be sick when you're at the hospital, please. But they did examine me, and they figured out that I was indeed in heart failure. And so I was transferred to Cincinnati Children's, and it was pretty much determined that I was going to die if I didn't get a heart transplant. So fast forward about 2 months, I was not doing well. So this was November or something, November or December, around there. And I was not doing well. I was getting worse and worse and deteriorating and stuff, and I eventually, in December, I eventually did have to be intubated, and by the time I got my heart on December 22nd and 23rd, both days, by the time I got it, the doctor said that I had about 24 to 48 hours left to live. And so, I mean, my grandma at the time, she called her sister and she asked her to make funeral arrangements for me. And that's kind of the craziest part of the story, is that they were actually getting ready for my funeral. So that's rough. But on my birthday, they didn't think I was going to live to Christmas. Like, my birthday was 3 days before, and they didn't expect me to make it to Christmas. But on my birthday, we got the call that I had a heart. It was from a 5-month-old boy from Dubuque, Iowa. His name was Cole Hollenbach, and he is the only reason I'm here today, because, I mean, there were babies who also needed that heart, and they didn't get it because it was the only one available, so I'm lucky to have that. And the surgery started on my birthday and it ended the next day, so got my birthday, heart anniversary, Christmas Eve, and Christmas. So